going to power all of its inventions in the future. Fossil fuels are running out. That's not an opinion, that's just a fact. And most studies predict that fossil fuels will be completely gone by the year 2050. So how are we going to power everything in the future? This is where nuclear power comes in. Nuclear power is an extremely safe and reliable source of energy if we use it safely. And that sounds kind of redundant, but a lot of nuclear power plants have accidents because of human error. And nuclear power is also reliable. Nuclear power is more reliable than wind or solar because you'll never know when the sun might shine or when the wind might blow. Nuclear power is the power of the future. First of all, nuclear power is non-carbon emitting. This is extremely good because nuclear power can help slow global warming. In a study by Marissa Cayley called Nuclear Power as an Alternate Power Source, why uprates to commercial nuclear reactors deserve to be eligible for the federal loan guarantee, and why the DOE's decision to make them so warrants Chevron's deference, shows that nuclear reactors are good for the environment. Nuclear reactors produce 63% of America's clean energy. That is a very large percentage of the non-carbon emitting sources in America. So much more than wind or solar, excuse me. This is only done with 99 reactors, and that's pretty good, too. Gwyneth Cravens wrote an article called Why Nuclear Power Should Play a Greater Role in the Response to Climate Change. And I'm going to talk about Gwyneth a little bit. She was an extremely anti-nuclear person for the longest time. She wanted nothing to do with it. She boycotted all the nuclear reactors, and she did not want a single nuclear reactor built by her city. But when she talked to a professor of nuclear chemistry, she learned that nuclear power, when done like it is done in the United States, is extremely safe, and she turned to pro-nuclear reacting. She actually wrote a book about her opinions and how the talk with the professor changed her opinion on nuclear power. She introduced nuclear power as a clean energy source in America because it's non-carbon emitting. Once the nuclear power plant is built, no more carbon is emitted by anything relating to it. The only downside to it is it releases radioactive waste. And this is obviously not good. But she also introduced us to a solution. There is a new power plant being built right now that will burn spent fuel rods from older power plants, so we won't have to worry about the radioactive waste laying around anymore. So, in conclusion of my first point, nuclear power is safe for the environment, and it's just getting safer, especially with these new plants being built. Secondly, nuclear power supplies a large portion of America's power already. An untitled study by the U.S. Energy Information Administration showed that in September 2015, nuclear power accounted to 18.9% of America's power. That is a good majority. Fossil fuels amounted to about 60, and then everything else kind of fell in that last 20% range. But we did 18.9% of power with just 99 reactors. And that's pretty good. And the impressive thing is these reactors weren't even at peak efficiency. They only reacted at 93.5% efficiency. So, if we could only build 400 more reactors, we could completely power this entire country and no longer be dependent on fossil fuel. Marissa Cayley wrote the article, Nuclear Power as an Alternative Green Fuel, Why Commercial Nuclear Reactors Deserve to be Eligible for the Federal Loan Guarantee, and the DOE's decision to make them so warrant Chevron's defense. Says that nuclear power accounts to about 20% of the power in this country. But she also talks about the problems nuclear power plants have. The biggest problem with nuclear power plant is the cost. Obviously, it costs a lot to get it approved and a lot to get it built, but it also costs on infrastructure because most people don't want you to build a nuclear power plant right next to their city. So you have to run power lines to and from the power plant and to the cities who work them in. So, nuclear power, overall, is an extremely easy and abundant source of power. Thirdly, nuclear power has a lot of problems, but it also solved a lot of its problems. Gwyneth Craven wrote Why Nuclear Power Should Play a Greater Role in the Response to Climate Change. And she addressed one of the biggest problems with nuclear power right now, and that is the radioactive waste that accompanies it. But she also proposed a solution. In 20 years from now, they will have a new type of reactor called molten salt reactor, which will take every single fuel rod from the old reactors that can no longer be used to make power from them, and make more power with them until they are made into a less harmful compound such as lead. And this is a giant step forward for nuclear technology, because now we don't have to worry about nuclear waste leaking into groundwater, or even worse, falling into the hands of someone who would do something bad with it. Marissa P. Cayley wrote the study, nuclear power is an alternate green fuel, why commercial nuclear reactors deserve to be eligible for the federal loan guarantee, and the DOE's decision to make them so warrant Chevron's deference, showed that if everyone in a nuclear power plant was trained and every safety precaution is followed to the letter, nuclear power plants are one of the safest places on Earth. The problems arise when someone steps in and tries to do something they were not trained for. But that won't even be a problem in the future, because in the future, the new power plants being built are safer and they have more redundancies and fail-safes. So the nuclear power plant will try to solve its problems before humans even get the chance to step in. So nuclear power plant is safer and just getting safer all the time. We all need to embrace nuclear power. It is the power of the future. It has so many positives for it, not just for humanity, but for the environment, as it's non-carbon emitting and the radioactive waste won't be a problem anymore. I invite everyone listening today to write to representatives in Congress and tell them that we no longer want to be reliant on fossil fuels. We want to be reliant on nuclear power, because nuclear power is more reliable and we don't have to get it from countries that don't like us. So let's all be free from pollution and free from fossil fuels. Thank you.